Good morning.
Good morning, Dee. How are you today?
I'm much, much better. I mean, physically, I'm completely fine. I couldn't get up very early. I mean, I woke up at 6
Mm.
today. When I didn't do Soul's Temple and sleep last night and day before. I realized that when I do Soul's Temple and sleep, I'm able to wake up like very fresh and everything. The days that I don't do that and I do something else or, simply I sleep off. Those are the days.
Yesterday, I so wanted to tell you, you just go back to sleep. Let's skip the class because you're looking so like tired. मतलब नींद complete नहीं हुई थी आपकी ऐसे.
Need this is I'm not usually. It's not about sleep for me. Usually, it is if I take in too much of energy of people and if entity interference, all of that will show up on my face immediately. In the sense,
Oh, okay.
on that day also, when I was having a nose block and everything, a
Yesterday
friend,
ना कल सुबह ही हुआ
yesterday,
था I
yeah.
think. हाँ.
So, a friend of mine who doesn't even know all these talk to the entities, or she's not done any healing classes. I mean, a little bit, if I tell her, you do this, some chant or something, she'll do. Or if I tell her, do this soul simple, she'll do. And she's been watching my YouTube videos. So when she called me, she said, Bandana, it was not you at all. Now,
Oh,
this is
okay.
not a language that, you know, she knows therapeutically. Okay. So I said, what did you perceive? She said, I don't know what, but it didn't sound like you. So I was concerned. She was aware, but she didn't know how to put it into words. So I told her, yeah, it was my nani, and she needed healing. And when I asked a couple of more questions, I got to know about the death healing that she required, brain hemorrhage and everything. So I said, yeah, I mean, the spirits communicate to us when we are willing to receive. And that was only possible first when I acknowledged her presence and when I integrated some parts, shadow parts that day. So all of this put together got me in touch with that part of me, which is completely connected and at the same time very disconnected with my nana.
Okay.
So then when that integrates, then you're able to receive the communication of the person. It's almost like uh, earlier you were connected, so much connected that you were almost like her soul and my soul are together in the same body, like an inculcated entity.
Wow.
And then after that, so it's not like completely a person after passing away will stay here. There might be parts that stay back, some fragment of energy, like how we have inner children. For example, when I was, say, 3 year old, if something happened and a part of my energy is stuck there. Similarly, even the people who pass away, a part of their energy can be stuck in somebody else's mind, body. As much as we are attached to them, we might hold on to that part of their energy
Even after so many years of their going.
after 100 years also.
Oh,
It's not at all, it
too
means
intense.
even I may die, she may die, everybody may die, but that some parts may be. There are spirits which stay off in lands also. If you're too attached to your house, then your spirit might just stay here
Okay.
for long, thinking that this is
Mm.
my house. Why
And
people?
does it happen that you will not allow anyone else to stay in that house?
Of course it
Because
does.
one of my friend, just my very close friend, recently last month experienced something like this.
It does happen.
Yeah, yeah, she went into a house and there were some entities there, I guess.
Mm.
And there were two girls. They just didn't allow them to stay. In 7 days, she had to vacate the entire house again.
It definitely happens. And
Crazy things started happening there. Crazy.
yeah, like, electricity will conk off every time, or something will fall, or something will break, or something. It can be weird things. You won't know, but it will be like so heavy to be there that you'll be like, okay, fine, I'm leaving, like that. I know all this because I've done my so much education in it, like, you know, talk to the entities of access consciousness, level
Correct.
1, level 2, level 3, then
I have not
shamanism.
touched that chapter really yet. I don't know. That next is my, entity भी करना है मुझे, but I don't know. I'm somehow not doing it.
The best part of doing these classes, you know, we are all anyways aware of entities. Okay.
Yeah.
Whether we like it, whether we don't like it, we can sense the presence. Some can see, some can sense, some can hear, some can smell. So it can be everybody has different faculties. So when we are already aware of it, might as well remove the fear, and not like, you don't have to go and do entity clearing all the time, or you don't have to go and teach other people how to do entity clearing all the time. That's not why we do classes. Why we do classes is, if there's some capacity that is dormant within us, we don't even know that exists. When we do these classes, that capacity of us reveals it to us. And then we realize, oh, okay, I can do this also. Now, whether I want to do this or not, it's my choice. I can always choose. Like even in the talk to the entity classes, they say, okay, if you're getting a lot of sense of some spirits around you, or if communication is happening, you can say that, okay, I don't want to talk now. I'll talk to you later. Just like if you call me and if I tell you, hey Simran, I'm busy right now, I'll talk to you later. It can be that simple. And that was thanks to Access Consciousness Talk to the Entity classes, because otherwise people, make it too complicated and make it very like, sound like very like, oh. But it's not like that. It's very simple. Talking to, people who have died doesn't have to be scary, doesn't have to be dramatic, it doesn't have to be anything. It is just energy. Like how we pray and we talk to God, we don't see God. Similarly, you connect and you talk to those people, the spirit of those people. It's very, very simple and beautiful. Only thing is, what doesn't allow us to receive those communications is our mistrust in that, our inability to let go of our emotions related to that, and see beyond emotions. And then also the fear factor that, oh my God, how can I do this? I don't want to do this. So fears, lack of faith, mistrust, and perception that if I'm going to communicate to some dead spirit, or it has to be some wishy-washy things, or it has to be something scary, it has to be something dramatic. It doesn't have to be anything. It really doesn't have to be anything. It can be very, very simple. When I didn't know any classes, I hadn't done any talk to the entities. When I hadn't done any healing class also, my father-in-law, my grandmother, my grandfather, my mother's, Bua, these people who died used to come into my dreams. And I would just see them, they would say something, they would do something. And then I would wake up and the first thing I'll do, I'll call my mom. कि अरे पता है मेरे सपने में ना नानी माँ आई थी या मेरे सपने में दादी माँ आई थी. तो she would ask, अच्छा क्या बोली, कुछ हुआ क्या? She also is not a person who knows how to do dream interpretation or anything, but just she didn't know the word intuition, but intuitively she would say कि शायद ऐसा कुछ बोल रही हूँ. How did she know? But she just knew. How did I know? I mean, I was not in the dreams. They would come and they would say something, and that particular day something would happen, which would be an evidence to what they said. Always. So that time also I never doubted it, because that was my everyday thing. I used to get all dead people in my dreams. So I didn't know I can call it a capacity. It felt like a weirdness. It felt like मेरे सपने में क्यों आते हैं? I used to tell him, Mom, मेरे सपने में सब क्यों आते हैं जो मरे हुए लोग हैं? Like, this was the way I used to talk about it. But then with time, I realized that, okay, fine. this is a capacity that I have. And this is a thing that I can enhance and make better. And I can receive from this capacity. I can communicate on purpose with the spirits. And like how I can guide you people about like how what I have learned, my education, my skills and everything, using all of that, how I can guide you. I can also guide those spirits that, okay, if you're choosing to remain stuck, there's no need to. It's time to move. Or, there's no point in remaining stuck here. And there are some spirits which will say, no, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay here. I would, like how if someone comes and tells me, I don't want to do soul stint, I'll say, हाँ ठीक है कोई बात नहीं. It can be as simple as that. It's not at all complicated. And once we acknowledge these capacities, it is anyways there. If you blind yourself to it, it is not going to go away. Only thing is that when you acknowledge that, okay, I have some capacities, and the more you do all these spiritual things, whatever spiritual things you do, if you're going to do a lot of meditation, a lot of these things, classes or anything, your capacity with all kinds of energies is going to expand. Dead, alive, good, bad, evil, everything. But then when you resist, when you say I only want the good and I don't want the evil or the bad, that is the thing it's almost like two sides of the same coin, and I don't want to, how can you not see one side and see one side? It's not possible. It'll create a split in you. And that's why these things really help, integration of those parts that we consider as not so great, integration of those parts that we consider are not worth having, integration of those parts that of other people that trigger us. That, okay, where is that part in me? When I'm getting triggered by what somebody is doing, have I also been there, done that? Have I also, felt guilty about being the same sometime in life? And when I acknowledge that, okay, somebody who's triggering me, there's something to do with me also in it. That doesn't mean I take the blame of what other people are doing on myself. That was initially I used to do, because when my college teacher, Uma Sharma ma'am, she used to say, whenever you point a finger to another, 3 fingers point to you. So before you point out fingers at another, see what did you do, 3 things that you did which made that person do that to you. That was long back when I was in college. I didn't know any such healing or anything then. But then also what I used to do that for everything I made it so significant what she said. It was good that I made it significant at that time. Maybe at that time it was required by me. So anything, if anybody hurts me or talks in a very, unkind way or rude way, I would always go back and see, अच्छा मैंने क्या 3 चीजें ऐसी की कि उन्होंने मुझसे ऐसे बात की. I never realized that I started doing that every day and beating myself up for everything that anybody else would choose. After I got married, I was just 20, and just after college, I got married in a year. So anything anyone will do, I would be sitting and thinking, अच्छा मैंने क्या किया, मैंने क्या किया. And all the time I would get up, I would say, अच्छा sorry, मैंने ये किया इसलिए आपने ऐसे बोला, I'm sorry. To everybody. I was the one who was perpetually saying sorry to everybody. Sometimes writing and giving sorry also. Because I felt that I'm so wrong. Everything that I do is wrong. And when I did Dane's class, Dr. Dane's class, ESB first. I did Being You later, but I did ESB. I didn't even have the thing to get up and ask questions. I would just listen to what everybody's saying, make my notes, read the books, silently do everything, and just walk off. If I need anything, I would not say that I need this, or none of that. Yeah, but my connection with the divine was always very strong. So whatever my thing was always, okay, ask God. No need to ask anybody anything. Good or bad, but that was how I was. And so, but because something was pressing so much inside me, which I didn't ask in those 3 days, 7:30, the third day, he was leaving and he's already said that I'm going to leave and it's going to be now no more questions and I have my flight and I have to rush and all of that. Somehow, I don't know, those 3 days of clearings or whatever, I gathered the courage and I went and told him that I just put my question that this is what it is. He simply looked at me and they are so intuitive and they can just, without even you saying, they know what's going on. And Dayan just looked at me and he said, you've been made wrong a lot in your life. Run, at that time there was something called fraud patrol clearing, which is not there now in the books. But those times it was there in the bigger classes. So he said, run the fraud patrol clearing 1,000 times. He said 1,000 times. I was like, okay, 1,000 times, matlab to bahut sara hai. But then I did it. What I did, I thought 1,000 times means if I split it into 1 month, every day 30 times minimum. So 30 into 30 will be 900. Then maybe another couple of 3-4 days more. So I just looked at it from a very, homework karna hai perspective. And he has told me, so I'll do it. It shifted a lot for me. I stopped making myself wrong for everything. The person that you see today who keeps acknowledging what the good that I do and the good that people do also, it was not like this a few years ago. And because when I make myself wrong every time, I will definitely tend to make other people wrong sooner or later. Because I'm always seeing wrongness. Whether it's wrongness of me, even if I'm in the initial days, I might see the rightness of other people and the wrongness of me. But how long? Someday my being will break and my being will say that हर वक्त तू ही तो थोड़ी गलत है, वो लोग भी तो कर रहे हैं ना जो कर रहे हैं. And then after that, you'll naturally start seeing the wrongness of others. It becomes a natural process. If you have accumulated hurt, you will hurt people. You cannot not hurt people, how much ever you don't want to. Then what will happen? Oh, you're already seeing wrongness of you. Then because you're so tired of seeing the wrongness of you, then you want to see the wrongness of another. And then you will hurt another by saying that you are wrong, you are wrong, you are wrong, because of you, because of you, because of you. Then you will feel guilty because perpetually you are anyway seeing your wrongness only inside of you, humanoid. So then I'll feel guilty, shit, why did I hurt him or her or anybody? And then more wrongness. So that whole trip that we get on seeing about the wrongness of us and wrongness of others, it will continuously keep playing in our life that we will forget to see the beauty in us and others. We stop appreciating beauty. We start thinking that life itself is like a curse. Why am I living? I mean, maybe it sounds exaggerated. Maybe it sounds like, oh nahi, mujhe to aise nahi hota hai. Mujhe hua. And I was suicidal. I was completely suicidal at one point of time. I even took sleeping pills after 10 years of my marriage. I just took sleeping pills and I was like, let me just die. Whatever, fortunately, unfortunately, I didn't die. Now I can just laugh at it. Earlier, if I would talk about it, I would cry. And I would think about all the mistakes I did, all the mistakes everybody else did. But the focus is completely on what is the mistake that one did. Where did I make a mistake? Where did my husband make a mistake? Where did my mother-in-law make a mistake? Where did my brother-in-law make a mistake? Where did my child make a mistake? All the time, really? How, you know, if 80% of the time you're seeing who's wrong, who's to blame, you're losing on everything beautiful of life. Trust me. I've been there, done that, and I'm saying it completely from the core of my being. It doesn't serve any good to anybody in the world. And most of the times we find faults with our loved ones only. So when we find faults with our loved ones, it hurts us even more. Being the sensitive person that I am, whenever I hurt anybody, I hurt more. I didn't know all of that time. When I learned all this hypnotherapy, this, that, indigo children, rainbow children, humanoids, autism, falana, dikana, I realized that my heart is very crystalline. So if I hit you, the pain will come to me immediately. I can't wantedly, if I hurt people, right? It hurts so bad inside me that the other person won't even know. They might just say, ha, theek hai, boli, forget it. They might not be the sensitive people and they might just like walk away as if nothing happened. But the hurt stays in me. And then when I learned about all these things, crystalline heart and your heart become crystalline and everything, and then that everything you do will come back to you. So then wouldn't it be wiser for me, when I know that I'm so sensitive and that my heart is like a crystalline heart, to do more good, make more people happy so that it comes back to me in the form of joy and happiness. Now, these are the things it took me a while to understand about me. This is not a universal thing. This is about me. Anybody, even if the person has done the worst cheating or manipulation or exploited me or, you know, didn't give me my due, say, money or respect or anything. And if I tell it even to them, right, you're not supposed to do like this. How could you do this to me? Or what you did was wrong. Like a fucking idiot, I'll come back home and I'll think, why did I say? I'll be like, shit, I shouldn't have said. Poor thing, they must be having some problem. I didn't even see the other side of the story. I didn't put myself in their shoes. This was my dialogue to myself like all the time. Thank goodness. Thank the heavens. God. Nowadays it's not like that. Oh my God, it was crazy in my universe. Because and nobody will realize how like somebody else makes a mistake and you're crying. How would people wouldn't get it? Like, बेवकूफ है क्या तू, गधी है क्या तू? Like this, the ones who love you will tell you बेवकूफ है क्या, गधी है क्या? The ones who don't love you want to be intellectual, बहुत self pity है तेरे को, बहुत drama है life में. And the ones who are more arrogant, they'll ये सब नाटक करने की जरूरत है, just get up and just do what is required to be done. I've heard all of that. तुमको तो बस हर समय नाटक करना है. I've heard all of that. And then I used to sit and cry in front of my God in the temple. I would just go sit alone and cry. I would be like, मेरे को तो समझता ही नहीं कि क्या करना है, कैसे मैं सही काम करना सीखूं. सही काम कैसे करना, कितना सही, like where is kitna you can be right, how much can you be right, where does the right and wrong end, where is the line between the right and the wrong, and how far can you travel just with the right and no wrong, or how far can you travel just with the wrong and no right. All of that was like so many questions in my head which I didn't know being in a question, but there were so many questions all the time because I was so shocked, surprised, amazed, amused, hurt. People used to fascinate me so much. I used to get carried away so easily. Everything was too much in my universe. Everything was extremes. If people say, oh, Bandana, you have to learn to have balance. Balance, समझता ही नहीं था मुझे balance होता क्या चीज़ है. Because there was no balance. So it was a very different life, I would say. I wouldn't say good or bad, but it was different. Like people wouldn't get me कि ये करना क्या चाह रही है, ये बोलना क्या चाह रही है, इसको क्या समझ में नहीं आ रहा है क्या, लॉजिकली बात कर, प्रैक्टिकली बात कर. प्रैक्टिकल होता क्या है पता ही नहीं था कि what is practical. And then one day I heard Dane Tour of Consciousness. Those days I never used to, like when I learned Access, I was so hooked that I used to every time go to the YouTube and see whatever video Dane has put. And Dane's energy, I used to like connect a lot to, because every time he would say, oh, I have this ADD, ADHD, autism, this, that, I might go here, I might go here. It used to feel like me. I used to be like, yeah, I know how it is. So one day when I saw one of the Tour of Consciousness of Dane, something around what if people don't understand you? So it just, I was like, yeah, I want to know what to do if people don't understand me. So he went like his usual way of talking, and he said that, what if no one can understand you? What if you're like nobody? What if you are inconceivable? Can you look at that possibility? That day, that is one tour of consciousness which just changed everything for me. You know, sometimes just these small tools which are given for free, do we take out time to see them? Do we take out time to note them down? And when we are asking questions, are we going and looking for, there must be something somewhere in this book or in this video, or somebody has sent me something. When we start, initially it is like, okay, I ask a question, you start looking out for it. Slowly, gradually, it becomes an automated thing. Like how finding wrongness was an automatic thing, the finding the rightness also becomes an automatic thing. What's right about this? What's right about me that I'm not getting? What is the gift behind this? What's the learning in this? What can I learn from this? When these become perpetual questions, then that becomes an automatic thing. Then you don't have to remind yourself. You forget who's wrong, what is wrong. You just go into, okay, fine. This happened. I see it the way it is. What can I do to change this? And thanks to Access Consciousness and, BAS classes, foundation, and so many classes that I've done of Access, I learned how to ask the right questions. Because we ask a lot of stupid questions. मेरी क्या गलती है? तुमने क्या गलत किया? All the time finding mistakes, finding reasons to blame, and giving reasons and justifications for our mistakes. Like, does that serve anybody? It doesn't serve anybody. So when I started asking more questions, and now it has become automatic. I just ask a question and I know that it'll come to me. The awareness will come to me, any which way. कहीं से भी आ जाएगा. ऐसे उड़ते उड़ते हवा में कुछ आ जाएगा. It doesn't even matter. But it is a muscle that I cultivated. It didn't happen. Nothing happened overnight, by the way. I'm not sitting here and talking to you just, oh, yesterday I learned something and today I'm talking to you. No, I've practiced everything that I've learned, whether it's Soul's Temple, whether it is asking questions, whether it is clearing statements, whether it is radical healing, doing affirmations. I've filled books of affirmations. लिख के भर के रखी हैं किताबें मेरे सूटकेस से क्या पड़ी है जिसमें इतनी सारी किताबें affirmations लिख के. Writing goals, setting goals, everything. कुछ भी, if I hear even a normal Facebook live or anything of anybody, I would start making notes. So much I have worked, because, okay, why did I work so much in this field only? When I was in college, I never worked, I never studied. When I was in school, I never studied. It would go above my head. Anything the teachers would say, I wouldn't recognize only what they are telling. Comprehension skills were like zero. Everything that I passed so far in my exam was just by intuition, because I used to like, okay, kya question aane wala hai? In my own head, I'll pick up the book, and I didn't know all of that at the time, that I have some capacity, but I would just pick up the book. Kya question aane wala hai? And then some 10 questions I would know कि हाँ ये आने वाला है, and I would only read that much and go, and I would pass. People used to tell me तू बेवकूफ है, एक दिन मरेगी, एक दिन फेल होगी. ये सब नहीं होता है. People made me wrong for everything that I did because it was weird. It wasn't normal. Anybody wouldn't get why she is the way she is. Doesn't matter. When I heard Dane saying that, what if you are inconceivable? What if nobody can understand you? So now I'm very happy with the fact, हाँ नहीं, तुमको नहीं समझ में आ रहा ना कि मैं ऐसे क्यों behave कर रही हूँ, छोड़ दो, नहीं समझ में आएगा. So it becomes so much more ease on me and other people. कि हाँ ठीक है, नहीं, no, nobody can understand me. It's okay. These are the things, right? What if your wrongness were a strongness of access consciousness? I adore the gifts of these modalities that, you know, whether it's Soul's Temple, whether it's access consciousness, whether it's radical healing, Atman, what Atman taught me. I'm so grateful to all my teachers in my life. I really am so grateful. You know, to become a teacher, right? You have to have some amount of selflessness in you. Even if you're being paid, you know, choosing the profession of being a teacher, whether it's a school teacher, a college teacher, or a teacher who's teaching some modality. What are these teachers doing? Like if it's a school teacher, even if it's a primary or pre-nursery school teacher, a batch will come to her. In 1 year, they'll all go. She can never get attached. She has to keep doing the same thing over and over again for years together. Even if she's being paid, it does require an amount of selflessness, an amount of connection, human connection. Otherwise, you can't remain in the profession of being a teacher. So teachers are beautiful beings. You know, when I was small, like how, you know, people ask what you want to become when you grow up. When I was very like small, maybe 5 to 7 years old, I used to tell my father, मैं तो ना बड़े होके teacher बनूंगी. Then second thing I used to tell my father later, मेरे को ना business करना है. फिर I used to tell my father, मेरे को ना doctor बनना है. Like children are like that, right? Changing things. But these three were the things which I used to tell very often. मेरे को ना doctor बनना है, मेरे को ना business करना है, मेरे को ना teacher बनना है. But then when I grew up and I saw the hard work that teachers have to do, like every day, same subject, जो subject मुझे ही नहीं समझ में आ रहा, मैं किसी और को क्या पढ़ाऊंगी, तो teacher तो cancel. School के, by the time I came to 9th, 10th, 8th, 9th, and I was like, teacher तो मैं नहीं बन सकती, बहुत पढ़ाई है. Then I was like, हाँ business तो फिर भी maybe I can try someday. Doctor कहाँ खत्म हो गया? 12th standard. I took bio. नहीं, bio नहीं लिया मैंने, physics, chemistry, maths लिया था. But 10th में I was thinking of taking bio. But then when we had this dissection, right? Frog cut dissection in the lab, I was like, ये करने में तो मेरी फट रही है. एक डेड फ्रॉग को छू के उसका काट के स्किन डिसेक्शन करना, रैट. I was like, oh my god, how will I even see blood and surgery and this and that? Doctor तो मैं नहीं बन सकती हूँ. Done. Ruled out for life. Then of course after college I got married because I wanted to get married and have a happy family also. to give birth to children. That was also one of my things. So फिर शादी हो गई, उसके बाद कुछ नहीं. It was like घर के काम करो and everything. So all business ये वो everything gone. हवा में उड़ गया सब. But the thing is, the beauty of what we talk unknowingly in our childhood and all, if you look at it, somewhere a seed was sown when you know, uh, express these desires. Today, when I look at myself today, like I'm a teacher, I'm a doctor in a different way, a healer, right? I'm working with diseases where I don't have to cut anything, where I don't have to see blood, but I'm healing. I'm working with cancer, I'm working with big diseases, okay? And in a way, my profession, this is my profession, I'm earning money out of it. I'm a freelancer, so I'm a businesswoman also. And I did give birth to beautiful children and have a happy family also. So I did all that I wanted to do. When did this journey begin to recognize that I did everything, I can do everything, when I stopped finding wrongness of me and wrongness of other people? Then you can see, okay, I can do this also, I can do that. Now you have so much time and so much energy for doing all the right things that you wanted to do. But if you're continuously only seeing what is wrong about me, what is wrong about other people, what is wrong about this world, what is wrong with you, हो गया तुम्हारा तो. You'll only keep looping, 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 looping. Gone for life. No time to think better things. No time to do better things. These are the things, thankfully, really thankfully, I learned in this last 1 decade. And I'm out of all those. I am never going to give up on life. I'm never going to feel that I wish I should have died. I'm never, people will say never. But this I can say, never. As long as I'm alive, come what may, I am going to choose life. Always. Because this gift of life is very, very precious. It didn't come to you randomly. You didn't just get born one day suddenly out of the blue and to die here or to suffer. You came here to live. You came here to experience so many things. All the experiences, everything is beautiful. You know, when that's what these people say, right? All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory is not about only the good things coming to you. It's about the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, everything. That is all of life. And all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. When I started learning these modalities, when I started doing these things every day, I started seeing that, oh wow, it can be easy. It doesn't have to be difficult. Nothing has to be difficult. Everything can be ease. Again, there's a difference between ease and easy. That's another tour of consciousness of Dane. Maybe it's today's Dane acknowledgement day for me. I think I'm too overwhelmed yesterday after seeing his Facebook Live. I remember the first time I hugged Dane, right? In the class. I felt like he's the kindest man I've ever met in the world. That much kindness was just in his conversation, in his voice, in his embrace. Like literally, quite literally, I mean, I was not like attracted to Dane. I was not. But I have like huge regards for that man, for who he is. That, you know, he's really changed lives simply by being himself, that being you, changing the world. So that I do have that regards. I always watch Instagram, his Facebook lives, his Instagram posts, his YouTube videos. And so much I have learned simply from those, apart from the classes. People might, you know, there are so many people who say access classes are so expensive and this and that. Yeah, they are. But how much money have you spent in hospitals and doctors and holidays, going to Switzerland and Mauritius and buying jewelry, gold, diamond? How long are those things going to serve you? How long can you be happy keeping a gold jewelry in front of you? How long can you feel beautiful by wearing the most beautiful diamond? If in your mind space you're completely fucked up, how long will you feel happy wearing a diamond jewelry? Tell me, because I don't. No amount of jewelry, no amount of best clothes. It can make you feel good for a day, for an hour, for 1 hour in a party. Oh, that everybody complimented me. Vandana, you're looking so beautiful. Or anybody. I mean, I'm not talking about only anybody. I don't even have that much jewelry. I sold all my jewelry. But we were quite poor. The thing is, I have worked with people who have all kinds of luxury. I've worked with people who have a house of 25 rooms with a lift inside the house within one floor also. I have worked personally. I have worked with industrialists. I have worked with, thankfully, I mean, my work is so good that it has reached nook and corners. And I appreciate myself for the work that I do because I have worked very hard to be where I am. It didn't come to me in one day. So when I work with such people, I see that all that jewelry, all that money, all that, it's not that I'm against money, but what I'm saying is whatever we make significant in our life, it's not going to serve you after a while. These things that we are doing, like these conversations, these intakes that we are taking inside of us, these decorate your soul, your being, your body, makes you healthy. For me, 100% health is wealth. I don't know about anybody else. I mean, there are, quotes like, oh, it's nice to cry in a Mercedes than on the footpath, of course. I'm not saying that don't buy a Mercedes if you have the money. Buy everything in the world. I'm not saying be a poor person. Definitely not. Because those things change with, when I read Unposted Letter of Mahatria, in that there is a chapter where he says that if you find 100 rupee note on the ground, okay, you good people will say, oh, it is somebody else's, I should not pick it up. Or even if you pick it up, you will say, okay, भगवान के मंदिर में जाके चढ़ा दो या किसी poor person को दे दो, ये मेरा नहीं है. Okay, good for you. He says, a drunkard will come, he will pick it up and he'll go and drink. He will do nothing better out of that 100 rupees. So if you, good person, would have picked it up, you would have done something good out of it. So if you, good person, decide to be rich, how much more good can you do? And that is what Access also says, the only purpose of money is to change people's realities. So when we refuse money, when we refuse to have money, when we refuse to give money, when we refuse to receive money, we are refusing all the possibilities that we can have by having it. Naturally, if a person like me, for example, if I have now a 1 lakh rupees in my bank account, if I have a 10 lakhs, definitely I'll use 5 lakhs for something greater. Right? I will not use it just like uselessly, mindlessly. So that is the thing, that when you're aware, like how Gary one day in Gary's class that I attended, He literally opened up the balance sheet of Access in front of all the 200 people who were in the class. He said, this much is our monthly expense, this much is our monthly income, this much goes for publishing of books, this much goes for the translation of classes, this much goes for this much goes for building a lugar, this, that. He literally told the whole detail. And he said, I'm asking for money from all of you for building a lugar. Some people criticized it. Oh my God, how can they talk like this? After we paid like a 1.5 lakhs or 1.2 lakhs for the class, they're asking more money. And some people generously gave, but out of showing to others that, oh, we are giving that much money because we have so much money. But genuinely, how many people got what he's trying to say? I don't know. I'm not sure. He was so transparent. He was so transparent about the fact that the more money we earn, we use it to create more of these YouTube videos, the books that we are, there are 45 plus books of Access. Publish करने में पैसे लगते हैं. उसके बाद translating them into that many languages पैसे लगते हैं. Traveling so much पैसे लगते हैं. Only thing that they're giving to themselves is comfort while they are traveling, comfort, good clothes. That though I'm sure they're entitled to. When they're doing so much good for everybody. Itna to banta hai. So they are using all the money that is coming to give back more to the world. That only a person who is completely out of this, making anything significant can do. So when I go to classes, I see the lessons and everything, but I also see the person who's teaching, the person who's facilitating. Where are they operating from? And you can make out hypocrites very easily. It's not difficult. That वो बोल तो रहे consciousness, but पता नहीं खुद का ही तो आता पता नहीं है. Does that mean I'm trying to make them wrong? No, I'm just saying that everybody can make out. If you're thinking that after doing like 100 classes you can fool people, people are not fools. Some may get fooled, but not everybody. If your agenda is to fool people and exploit people and extract money and not simply receive and earn by gifting whatever is supposed to be given in return for that, that will sooner or later anyways come to an end in a different way. Or that I trust, that is I'm an interesting point of view, I have this point of view. But when you earn money at the cost of other people's happiness and misery, it doesn't do any good to you. I have this point of view. I mean, it's a strong point of view, and I don't want to change it also. Maybe that doesn't allow big amounts of money to come to me. It doesn't matter. Because what is it that I truly desire from my life? I'm doing that. I'm doing what I truly desire. I'm being what I truly desire. I love my life. I completely love my life. There is no second thought ever of regret or resentment that why am I living this kind of life? No, I don't really have that. When I don't have that, that is when I can be so free to be able to tell what I'm telling with so much faith that I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. I don't have an ounce of doubt. To come to this level of faith, trust in yourself and faith in the divine, that's what Atman used to say. You can trust people, but you can't have faith in people. Faith, you can have it in the divine. Because faith is a very high connotation. You can't give that to people. All people have their own good and bad and ugly and beautiful and weaknesses and strengths. So you can't have complete 100% blind trust on anybody. You shouldn't have. When you have, then you kind of lose that sooner or later. Because when you start seeing the human side of people, then you feel, oh, acha, oh, Bandana यहाँ call पे तो ऐसे बात कर रही है, but जब मिली थी तो ऐसे बोल रही थी. So you someday you might just go like, oh, okay, I'm not interested to talk to Bandana. That's fine. Because we all have a human side. We all have our lopsides. We all may have things that will not please other people. And I have no air about that. I'm like, yeah, I have my own good, bad, beautiful, ugly. If it doesn't work for you, you can like choose different. Absolutely. But faith is something that you have to put on the divine. I completely trust that faith is one thing that can make you cross mountains easily. That I knew long before any healing, any modality, anything that I learned. Until I had learned healing, it was only my faith that kept me going. Faith in the divine and trust in myself that I can handle this. ये ठीक हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, ये मैं कर सकते, ये हम कर सकते. That was my language. हम करेंगे, हम इससे बाहर आ जाएंगे, हम कर लेंगे. That was my all-time language. Very optimistic I've been in my life. And yeah, when that went overboard, then I realized that, okay, that is not required. You have to be real. You have to see things for what they are, just the way they are, instead of trying to be only optimistic all the time. Being positive doesn't help for a very long period of time. You have to be real. But while being real, your focus must be on the brighter side. You see what is not fine. You see, acknowledge that ये चीज ठीक नहीं है, because if you don't acknowledge, that won't change. तो हाँ, ये situation है, इसमें ये ठीक है, ये बिल्कुल भी ठीक नहीं है. Acknowledge करना जरूरी है. And उसके बाद अच्छा जो ये ठीक नहीं है, इसको कैसे ठीक करना है, उस पर काम करना है. और ये जो अच्छा है, इसको और अच्छा कैसे करना है, उस पर काम करना है. तो ये पूरा situation से पहले बाहर आके look at it from a very bird's eye point of view, satellite point of view. Don't make that significant. Don't make the situation significant. Then it's easy to find solutions. And the focus must be on the solutions rather than the problem. And Ashish Narayankar always says that don't call things a problem. Say it's a situation. Nothing is a problem. Everything is a situation. Okay? When you look at it, हाँ ये situation है life में भी. इस पे काम करना. It becomes easier. Oh God, ये problem हो गया है. The words carry energy. When you say problem, you feel like problem, like if you become a problem, like literally. When I hear, these things that have stayed with me, which I have taken, I mean, he must have told it to 100 people. Not everybody would have changed their language. But I changed my language immediately. I was like, okay, I'm not going to call anything a problem anymore. Everything is a situation. And usually you will not hear the word problem in my language. I mean, in all these calls, you may not have heard the word problem. I make it a point that I practice that practically. Say, every time I think, oh, problem, I'll say no, situation. Like that. I'll remind myself that nahi, problem nahi hai, situation hai. Situation को handle किया जा सकता है. सिर्फ ये देखना है कि क्या ठीक नहीं है, क्या ठीक है, और उसके बाद उस पे काम करना है. And get into action mode. This, I think, I've told 100 times to a lot of people, and I'm telling again, when the mind is overworking, get into action mode. Start being physically active. Don't sit and brood over things. Don't sit and dwell in the overworking mind. Get up. If you can't do anything, get up and go out for a walk. Get up and go talk to somebody. So, and don't choose a person where things will get worse for you. Who will find out more faults with you. Choose people to talk to, जिनसे बात करके your spirits get uplifted. You must always have on your emergency dial the number of such people जिससे बात करके हमेशा अच्छा लगता है. It can be a student, it can be a parent figure, it can be a lover, it can be sister, sibling, it can be anybody. We all have some kind people in our lives, if not many, जिनसे बात करके हमेशा खुशी मिलती है. Those people must be there. We must hold them close. We must have gratitude for them, and we must know that कि हाँ ये इंसान precious है मेरी life में. And that is not necessarily the teachers, because the teachers don't have time. The mentors, I mean, I can't call Ashish Narankar randomly and say, hey Ashish, I want to talk to you. He doesn't have time. He's too busy changing lives, transforming lives of people. Day ko main call karke baat nahi kar sakti. This is the daily people that we have. The daily people that we have in our lives. The neighbor, the friend, the school teacher, my child's school teacher, or somebody, it can be anybody. These are the things which, we have to have gratitude for. Those people who, like yesterday when this friend of mine doesn't call me, like in a year once we talk. She was my neighbor for 15 years in Raipur. Every day, I was a housewife ना, neighbors housewife रहते तो क्या करते, गली कूचे पे बैठ के नुक्कड़ पे एक दूसरे से बतियाना, तेरी सास मेरी सास. तूने क्या खाना बनाया, मैंने ये बनाया. That friend. Obviously now I have gotten busy. I don't talk to her every day. She can look at it as, oh, आजकल तो बंदना को टाइम नहीं, बहुत बड़ी इंसान हो गई है वो. But there are few people who will never do that to you. There are few people who will always see you grow and they'll feel happy to see you flourish. Those are the few beautiful people in our lives who we must never let go. And that friend of mine, Malavika, and then there's one Garima. Now, these are the friends whom I knew like 20 years back or more. And every time I've grown, and if I tell them, na, abhi maine ye class kiya, abhi main ye kar rahi hu, they'll be like, yaar, bahut acha lagta hai tere ko dekh ke tu jo kar rahi hai. Tu bahut acha kaam kar. And these are the people who will tell you what you need to hear when you're unwell. And I didn't even know, the phone came from an unknown number because I didn't have that number saved of hers. But she called me, she said, Bandana, yaar, मेरे को बस आज लगा कि तेरी तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, मेरे को बात करना ही पड़ेगा. मैं तेरे YouTube वीडियोस देखते रहती हूँ, बट मैं फोन करने की जरूरत नहीं महसूस होती है. पर मेरे को लगा कि तू ठीक नहीं है. I have to talk to you. And she spoke like for 30 minutes. The last line that she said was, please take care of yourself, Bandana. The world needs you. You're doing very good work. We all need you. अपना ध्यान रखना. Now, when people who genuinely say this, right, it just touches the soul. It just makes you feel like, thank you so much for that. Thank you for that acknowledgement. Thank you for that. And I don't do therapies for her every day. I don't even talk to her every day, honestly. So these are these beautiful, generous people who are just there for you, irrespective. Whether you do anything for them, whether you give them anything or not, whether even you talk to them or not, whether you don't even give them time, whether you appreciate them or not, but they'll be there. I see the generosity in it. These are some few beautiful people of my life who have been there, and they will continue to be there till the end of my life. I know. If I die before, then. So I have always valued relationships that are so contributing. They really offer so much to us. And what we do, we make the teachers and all, like for example, yes, Dane is somebody who's inspired me, but Dane can never take the place of Malvika or Garima in my life, because Malvika and Garima are there. If I have to midnight 12:30, if I have to call them and talk to them, they'll be there. I cannot make them smaller and him bigger. No. They are equally, great for me. The greatness of them is not lesser because they are not like sitting and transforming the world. It doesn't even matter. They are transforming my world. In my world, I cannot do without them. So yes, they are very important for me. They are more important for me. These are the things which life has taught me. These are the things which experiences and these learnings and teachings and books and everything have taught me to look at life from the perspective of, everybody has a right to belong and feel equal and feel important and feel precious, feel gifted, feel received. All of us. Are we going to give ourselves that permission to have that? It depends on us. It doesn't depend on anybody else. There is not a single person in the world who doesn't have gifts. Not a single person. Trust you me, not a single person. Like yesterday, my maid who I spoke about in one of the calls, who is in Raipur, she called me after so many months. She called me, I was like, "Arey, Rani ka phone kyun aa raha hai?" And I picked up the call and she was like, "Auntie, आपसे कुछ बात करना था." मैंने बोला, "हाँ, बोल ना, क्या हो गया?" Now, it's a situation which is like serious in her life. I don't want to talk about it on call, but she picked up the phone and she called me. And then I told her, "अच्छा सुन, एक दो दिन मैं थोड़ा सा बिजी हूँ, लेकिन मैं परसों बैठ के हीलिंग करती हूँ, ठीक है? चिंता मत करना और मेरे को फिर से फोन करना." Why would I not give that same attention to her that I will give to you? She has done way more for me in my life than any of you or anybody who's listening to me or anybody who's paying me for my sessions. She's taken care of my house for 15 years. She's taken care of my children when I was not around. She's not just a maid, she's a caretaker. She cooked food for my house and my family members for years. We got food because she cooked. And I could travel and learn all these things because she was there to take care. She is very important. She's never going to, that place is never going to diminish. I'm always going to be grateful for her. So when we have to get our things right, okay, we have to get our acts together. That what are we making significant and what are we making insignificant? And when we make the vital parts, the beautiful parts of our life insignificant, and somebody who's randomly, for example, Bandhana is preaching and you make Bandhana significant, and you make your daughter insignificant, or you make your friend insignificant, then you're making a very important part of yourself insignificant. And you're making some part outside of you significant. That doesn't mean I'm not saying you don't acknowledge my presence. I'm not saying don't acknowledge what I've gifted. But I'm saying don't stop acknowledging the people who are every day there. There are people who are every day there for you. They are important. Never ever make them insignificant. The ones that were genuinely there contributing to your lives, your maids, your sweeper, your person who takes the kachra from your house. 4 दिन नहीं आता है ना, तो क्या हालत होती है घर की? कचरा जब इकट्ठा हो जाता है. How can we take these things for granted? If your drainage pipe is blocked and if the sweeper doesn't come, right, you'll be like gone because your house will stink. Plumbers, electricians, they have no value per se when you talk in the bigger picture. Nobody even knows them. Who's your electrician? I don't know. I don't even remember the name. मेरे phone पे electrician करके saved. But if your fan isn't working, your AC isn't working, and if that electrician doesn't come for 10 days, what will happen to you? Where will you go? Will Bandana come and repair your electricity bulb? या बंदना का जो प्रवचन है, will that help? कुछ भी हेल्प नहीं करेगा, इलेक्ट्रिशियन को ही आना पड़ेगा. So when you make it a point to have gratitude for every little thing in life, abundance is a natural way of being. You don't have to learn abundance. You don't have to write abundance affirmations. You know that there is abundance. But to reach there, you have to write abundance affirmations. To reach this space of acknowledging and gratitude, you have to write gratitude journals. I've written for 2 years. Every day. And I had decided that every day I'm going to write 10 new things. Every day, 10 new things that I'm grateful for. And when I wrote 10 new things every day for 2 years, imagine how many things I had to be grateful for. That is why I'm able to talk all these things, because that exploration of writing the gratitude, हर दिन 10 नई चीजें लिखनी है. इतना मोटा बुक है मेरा gratitude journal का. Then one day I told Atman, she was talking about gratitude, and I was like, पता है यार आत्मन ना, मैं 2 साल लिखी, अभी मैंने छोड़ दिया है. मेरे को अभी वापस शुरू करना पड़ेगा gratitude journal. She looked at me like this. She said, Bandana, you're a walking, talking gratitude. You don't need to write any journal anymore. So then I realized कि हाँ, अब तो आदत ही बन गई है. अच्छी आदतें डालो. आदतें तो बहुत सारी है, पर ऐसी आदतें डालो जिससे your soul expands, your being expands, your life expands. You feel grateful to be alive. We can cultivate those habits. So today, almost this whole call has become about gratitude, right? This is just nothing I can, if I start writing even today, right, I'll have like a minimum 100 names, like within an hour to be grateful for. Minimum 100 names, I'm saying. I'm not maximum. I can go on and on and on and on and on for the different people that I'm grateful for. When gratitude becomes your way of life, you are unstoppable. Nobody can stop you. When complaint is a way of life, you're completely stuck and stagnant. और stagnant, हमको सबको पता है कि stuck and stagnant में क्या होता है? काई जम जाती है. It starts stinking out. Nobody wants to be with you. Nobody wants to be with people who are complaining all the time. It's a fact. Nobody wants to be with people who are complaining all the time, right? And that's why how much ever we think complaining is a part and parcel of life, yes, it is. But at the same time, should we make that a habit, or we should change that habit, which doesn't serve me and anyone else, is my thing. You know, if it's not serving me or anybody else, I don't want it. Yeah, Simran. It does expand your life. It really does expand your life. Cool. So I don't even know what I'm doing nowadays because I think I think all the Souls Temple, that mother, father, this, that, everything we have covered. There's nothing, there's nothing actually more that I need to add to healing. It's more of practicing now. Start practicing whatever what your takeaway was from these. Now it's 28 days, 1 month. 20th we finish, and start practicing whatever is your what you have received and see how life is going to shift from here.
You are contributing a lot, Vandana. Like, I also wonder that every day you have a topic which touches a part of me, Like when initially you started talking about the wrongness that, you've been wronged always. And then because you've been wronged, you see the wrongness outside. The focus is wrong.
Yeah, but it is
So
because that's
all
what
this
we
is,
learned.
yeah. So you're opening so much in detail. I mean, I think I was, when you were talking, I thought I was coming from the same space. But suddenly I realized that this is not the truth. Today, this is not the truth for me. I don't see wrongness in anything because everything is okay. And earlier it was just a statement that no right and wrong. But when I'm going with myself, every day, layer by layer, it's opening up so much. Because that's where I need to heal myself.
And
The important.
also, when you stop making yourself also wrong, right? Then truly you will not make anyone wrong.
So I reflect on my journey. I thought I was there, but I'm not there. So every time that thought comes that I don't want to go back to where I was, and I already feel that I'm not the same person.
You are not. Nobody is. When we are doing all these things, we cannot be the same person.
Yeah. So whether I'm doing some serious work about healing, but life itself is healing every day.
Life is a
You know?
teacher, Baba. It teaches you everything that you need to learn,
Yeah.
with or without healing. Life is a beautiful teacher. When I created my first time when I created the YouTube channel, I didn't put any videos, but the name I'd given Life Speaks, Are You Listening? On my SoundCloud and my YouTube. The first time I put an audio or a video, I just wrote Life Speaks, Are You Listening? That's a thing. Life keeps on talking to you in many ways. Are we listening? It's a thing. Do we have time to listen to life?
I think I have all the time.
Yes.
Because that's my priority. That's my love.
Yeah. And so,
Thank you
yeah,
so much. Thank you
you're
for this
welcome.
beautiful conversation. And you're coming from so much of uh, honesty, so much of truth about yourself that it opens up the other person also.
When you speak authentically, right? My first public speech was, I said, when you speak from the heart, right, it reaches the heart of another. It is not about the posture, the gesture, the communication skills, the excellent smile on your face. It is about when you talk from the heart, it reaches the heart of other people. It really reaches, and I know that. And I don't talk anything that is untrue, at least not untrue for me. I only talk what is true for me. How much it will be true for you, I don't know. But for me, these things hold true. And I talk about what I know about my life and about my experience, what I have learned from people and what I have taken from my classes and my books that I've read. And all of this also comes from a space, see that Ravindranath Tagore ka poem, right? Mind is without fear. I don't know how many of you have heard it. Have you heard it? all of you? Okay, so this was my affirmation long before I knew anything called affirmation. I read this poem and I wrote it in my diary, and I used to read it every day. I don't know what chord it touched in my being. The poem of Rabindranath Tagore, it says, where the mind is without fear, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. So I wouldn't ever remember the whole poem, but that 2 lines where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, and where knowledge comes from the depth of truth. Couple of things, and into ever widening thought and action. My Father, let my country awake. I'm a patriot. I'm completely a pro-India person. Kahin pe bhi Jana Gana Mana, everywhere I see the flag of India, my just like chest expands. I mean, how much ever I try to camouflage this, no, it's universal and all that. No, I love India. I just love India. I mean, my son has shifted to New York. So many people ask me, so later on, will you move abroad if your daughter also goes abroad? I said, no, I'm going to stay in India because I love it way too much than anything else. I don't have any desire to move out of India, no matter what. That's that. I really, really love India. So that is, so when I used to read these, that these poems written by these amazing people, Rabindranath Tagore, and, quotes of Mother Teresa, they stayed with me. And that became what created my journey, actually. Now, actually, I'm breaking those narrow domestic walls that have fragmented the world through my work. I am absolutely, my mind is without fear. I'm fearless. And my head is held high. These are the things that you have written, you have heard, and you made notes, and it stayed with you. They created, as we speak, as we write, we create. And that is why if we keep on speaking about all that is wrong, right? सबके बारे में complain, ये complain, वो complain, ये खराब, वो खराब. That is what we are creating more. वही बढ़ेगा. कुछ उससे better नहीं होने वाला है. It's a tireless, habit which doesn't do any good to anybody. And we can change habits. Trust. 3 months it takes to change a habit. 3 months. 21 days and then beyond 3 months. Inaction. If you change your habits today, your life will change. It's just that much. There's a book called Atomic Habits. It's a beautiful book. If you get a chance, take it and read. Atomic Habits. I don't remember the name of the writer, but I will share it on the group later. Cool? So yeah, anything anyone wants to ask or say, else we close the call for today. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vandana. Love
Thank you,
you.
Dee.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.